Very good afternoon to you, grade 12. It's nice to meet you again for our life sciences lesson. As I always remind you, our lessons are kept aligned and proudly brought to us by Africa Holdings with its subsidiaries, which is Fibotech and VP Vastrotech. Yesterday, we ended our lesson with a question on blood groups. So we had started a question on blood groups. And remember, we were covered blood groups under an example of some traits, some genes with multiple alleles, with more than 2 alleles. And we say they are an example of multiple interactions. I did give you the question down there. I'm sure it's there. So today we are covering 2 things. We are continuing. I gave you to answer the question. We'll check if you did answer it properly. Then we'll move on to look at sex determination in humans. How sex is determined in humans. Remember last week I said we covered dominance, complete dominance, codominance, incomplete dominance, multiple allelic interactions, and sex linkage. So after this, we'll do sex linkage. After sex linkage, I think I'll throw in dihybrid inheritance before we look at when meiosis goes wrong, an example of genetic disorders, chromosomal mutations or gene mutations. I want us to just go back to the slide we did yesterday. Right, this one. Thank you very much. I remember well on this one, I said, this is the notation that we use to represent the genotypes of our blood groups. And I said there are 2 methods. Either for blood group A, you can put an I and an A, and then blood group O, an I and an O. And I say alternatively, you can put I and O or I and I for or a small letter I. Good. Now today I want to emphasize that we are expected to use the I notation as grade 12. So for now, let us not use the IO. Hence, I would need you here to take note to say A and I. Same applies here. Let's use B and use I. Same applies here. We put I and I for our homozygous recessive. I remember yesterday when I did an example, I used this notation. It's outdated for now. Would want us to use the I. Are we together there? So let's take, so for our example today, the one that I gave yesterday, we should use the I notation. So let us go to that problem and check what we managed to. I'm not going to repeat how we determine the blood groups. We said it yesterday, grade 12, because I know my good learners, they go home and start to read. So let us just quickly put the answers on this one. We did it yesterday as well. A man, blood group A, male is a blood group B, woman. Both are heterozygous. So genotype of man, who is B, it will be and I. The moment you see I, which means it's O. I was comfortable with the old notation. Okay, less confusing. Genotype with for woman whose blood group, the man is A. So it's A. Then the woman is B. So it will be B I, which means They are all heterozygous. And these are genotypes. Okay. What will be the possibility? I'm not going to do the cross here. We're going to do the cross, genetic cross for the next problem that we need to work out. All right. Okay. So here, which means it will be it's fine. I've talked about it. Let's move on to the next so that we don't waste time. I want us to go to the example we did yesterday before we come on to sex determination. All right. That was the question we made yesterday. Too small? Let's put the 24. All right. A man with blood group AB marries a woman with, marries a woman with blood group B. They had 3 children. One girl with blood group AB and 2 boys. Sorry. And 2 boys. One with blood group B and the other one and the other boy and the other one with and the other one with blood group A. First question, let's say 1. Let's say 1. First question, what are the possible genotypes? Exactly. Genotypes of the woman. Good question. How many marks? 2 marks for that. I give 2 marks for that. Okay. Okay. I made a spelling wrong. What are the possible genotypes of the woman? Grade 12, start looking at it. In genetics, read the question once, Read the question. Second time, picking key words that helps you to understand the question. Remember, I said in genetics, you can build up your answer from the outcome, from what you are told at the end or in between. You must always try to remember that. Question 2. All right. Assuming, okay, just assume this time, assume the woman is assuming the woman is heterozygous. Assume the woman is heterozygous. Draw no, let me say this way. Assuming the woman is heterozygous. What assuming the woman is heterozygous, ensure it's B, because we are dealing with assuming the woman is heterozygous. B for that. All right. What are the possible? What are the possible phenotypes? Let me say phenotypes. What are the possible phenotypes of their children? Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention there. No. There's one thing I forgot to mention. Oh, here, the men, according to the men, according to men, the two sons do not look like him. And he suspects that nurses could have done a mix-up at the hospital. Okay. Then the question is, Is the man justified to think that? Is the man justified? Okay. Okay. Then I'll ask again. Is the man right? You should support your answer. Support your answer. Using outcomes in two. A man, thank you so much. A man with blood group AB marries a woman with blood group. They had 3 children, 1 girl with blood group AB, 2 boys, 1 with B, and the other one with O. According to the men, according to the men, the sons do not look like him. To him, the sons should resemble him. So he's saying these boys do not look like. And then he suspects that during these days, maybe after delivery, there were some necessary business stuff, and then they mix up on 2 occasions. They are not twins. On 2 occasions, they gave his wife the son that was that happened again because the 2 sons does not look like him. You suspect that the nurse could have done a mix-up at the hospital. Is the man justified? So you need to answer this question. Very good. How do we go about this question? Okay. Let's hope you see clearly. Fine. Number one says what are the possible genotypes of the woman? So here we say woman genotype. Right. What are the possible? Because it's more than one. Remember, we are only told a woman with blood group B. That's the phenotype. Phenotype B. But we know that phenotype B could be in a homozygous condition or heterozygous condition. So the woman could be homozygous blood group B or heterozygous B. Those are the 2 possible genotypes. Still, from what we covered, this is blood group B. This is blood group B. So our question says she marries a woman with B. The question did not specify either in a homozygous condition or heterozygous. So I expect you to put these 2 answers. One next question. It says 2. Assume the woman is heterozygous B. Good. What are the possible phenotypes of their children? So this question already asks you to do a full genetic diagram because you need to determine the phenotype. So you need to go through the whole process. Are we together? Wonderful. Let's do it on a separate page so that we can all see clearly in a better way. Right. Okay, so here I say P1. Let me use green today. P1 was the phenotype. Sorry. A man, we're told, is A. B. Woman is a woman who is B. That's the phenotype. Grade 12's parent 1 genotype. What will be the genotypes for AB? That's where we use our notation, stroke A, stroke B. We are told to assume what? What's our assumption? Sorry. The assumption is the woman is heterozygous B. So I need you to put the genotype for heterozygous for blood group B, which is B. And I said we use I. Wonderful. Next, we show meiosis. We have done enough examples of this for us to get all the marks when it comes to genetic questions. Okay, we have that one. We have these alleles. That's how we show our table. That's our E. Our I. So good. Next, we show fertilization. It's random fertilization. I always want to use my red color. Sorry. A. And this B. What do we get? We get. Okay. Let me continue to use my green for the outcomes. We get A and we get B. Your codominants are use A and B. Right, we got this one and this one. What do we get? We get A and O, which is an I. Next, this one and this one. What do we get? We get B and B. The last one we can get B and O, which means this is our F1 genotype. In our F1 phenotypes, which are our blood groups. And brackets here, you just write blood groups. Right. This one is AB. The first one is blood group AB. Second one is A. Gretkov, do the rest. The rest, what do we get? B and B. Wonderful. We've done all the diagram. So let's try and see if the men's worries are justified. Are they justified? If their partner is B heterozygous. Okay. Great curves. I remember one of you told me that these are all the, you said, say, these are all the 4 children that they can get. Is that true? No. No. I didn't mention this even on our very first problem of a genetic diagram when we're doing our monohybrid. These are only possibilities, chances of getting these blood groups. So the chance of getting an AB is 1 out of 4. So the chance of getting this one is 1 out of 4, because that's all AB. Of getting A, it's 1 out of 4. Of getting B, it's 2 out of 4, which is half, or 25% chance, 25% chance, or 50% chance of getting AB. All right, so let me put it as a question. Good, it makes more of thinking to be demanded from my student. Good, so that's the possible outcomes. It doesn't mean that this is a girl, this is a boy, this is a boy. These are the chance that their offsprings could be AB, could be A, could be B, and could be B. So these are the chances. So if you look at our outcome, the chance of AB blood group is 1 out of 4 children, out of 4 possibilities. Of getting A, it's 1 out of 4 chances. So is B, it's half. Good. So that's the outcome. Let's look at the genotypes, the phenotypes of the couple's children. Where's our question? There's our question. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. Good. So they had blood group for the girl. What was it? For the girl with AB, 2 boys, 1 with B, 1 with O. From our diagram of a genetic cross, from the possible outcomes, we have AB. So the girl could be truly from them. B, we even have a possibility of 50% to be, but there's an O. There is an O. But from their phenotypes, it's not possible to get an O. So is the man justified? The man is justified to suspect that the nurses had a mix-up because there is no possibility of getting a child with blood group O. So the man is justified. From the possibilities that we have, we cannot have. So the man might say, oh, guys, please, you made a mistake on the sorting out. You gave me the boy that does not belong to me. All right, that's about blood groups. I'll give you another question to work it out. You know, when your typical exam questions, what they normally do is they give you this diagram. Sometimes you know what they do. They might not use the genotype. They do give you the boxes to highlight that this was a man, and on the offspring, the man was like this, and then the female was just like this, and then another female was like this, and the female like this. This one also went on to marry a man who was like this. So, and they got children who were like this and like this, as an example. So you deduce information from studying the outcomes. We'll look at the typical example, but basically that's what we'll be looking at. It's the same, very same sort of things. So you then work out to answer simple questions given the information on your diagram. Are we together, grade 12s? Wonderful. That's, practice makes perfect, as they always say. So challenge yourselves. Go and do more problems from your past exam paper on problems involving multiple alleles, as an example of blood groups. Example being blood groups. So go and do that. That's what my learned students always do. We don't say, what thing they've covered in class, that's all. No, let's go on and do some work. All right. Let's look at a similar aspect that I said we should look at. Good. Sex determination. Sex determination. Right. Let's take it step by step. Sex determination. What determines sex in animals, in humans, and sometimes in plants? Oh, I'm sure. Okay. So sex is determined by chromosomes known as the X and the Y. I'm sure you've heard this before. Boy is saying I'm XY, girl saying I'm XX. So X and Y. And these ones are collectively called our gonosomes. These are the questions you're asked during your exams. Before somebody draws much more, just ask, what name do we give to this type of sex of chromosome? So these chromosomes that determine sex are known as gonosomes. Maybe from your gametes, we get gonosomes. Sperms for men, as an example, an ovary, an ova for the woman counterparts. All right. Next statement. A zygote with X and Y chromosomes always develops into a male. XY equals male. X and X always female. Okay. Sex chromosomes separate at meiosis like all other chromosomes. Remember your meiosis 1, meiosis 2, and only one goes into the gamete. So they are always X and Y. So during meiosis, in which phase? Anaphase 1, anaphase 2. Separation, they go into each. Okay. Therefore, all female gametes carry one X, while the other half of the male gametes carry Y. Take note. Take note. All female gametes, but in males, half carry X, the other carry Y. So in females, all female gametes carry X. In men, there's an equal chance that one could be X, one could be Y. Okay. So male sex genotype is X and female sex is XX. The characteristics sex genotypes is also found in animals. Okay, you look at that on your own. I'll end here. Okay, grade 12. So from now, what we've discussed so far, we say X and X gives you a female. X and Y gives you a male. I've got a diagram on the board, which I want us to look at how sex is determined in. All right. Cool. Sex determination. I'm just explaining what I've just showed you in the diagram. Okay. Phenotype 1, a female and a male. A female is always XX, like I've said, and a male is always X and Y. Are we following? Always X, always XY. Next, you show gametes. So when the gametes split, we have X, we have X. On the male one, we have X and we have Y. So this is mating between a female and a male. What are the possible outcomes of the mating process? We get XX from this X and this X. From this X and this Y, we get XY. From this X and this X, we get XX. From this X and this Y, we get XY. Okay. All right. If you remember what I said just some minutes ago, these are possibilities. The chances of getting either a female or a male. So under a normal circumstance, you can either get this is female, this is male, this is female, this is male. So all things being equal, the chance of getting a female or a male is what? When we can get, which I said is mathematically 1:1. So there's a 50% chance of getting a male or a female in any fertilization of a female and a sex cell after mating. So then the question is, but say, why is that some families, they're only girls, some they're only female? Why is that the chance is only favoring a certain sex? Find out. You tell me. So that's how sex is determined. Okay. That's all about the sex determination. That's how sex is determined. From sex determination, let's move on to sex linkage. We determined our sex. We now know X and Y. But there are other traits which are carried on these chromosomes, these chromosomes. They are genes which determine a lot of things in man. There are genes which might result in some conditions that might be favorable and unfavorable. So the study of that genes, those genes that are carried on the chromosomes, the gonosomes, the X and Y chromosomes, we say they are sex linked. Are we together, grade 12s? They are sex linked. So we are required by our KEPS syllabus to look at 3 examples, 2 I'm sure, maybe this one we can, right? Red, green color blindness or hemophilia, the breeding disease, as examples of sex-linked condition. Are we together? So we said sex determined by X, but there are traits that are carried on the sex chromosomes. We say genes carried on the sex chromosomes are said to be sex linked. Are we following? Do not confuse some questions that shows normal Mendelian fashion from Mendel's experiments. We call it Mendelian random fertilization. And these ones, which are specifically sex linked, they don't follow the Mendel's system that he discovered. So genes carried on the sex chromosomes are said to be sex linked. In the case of a heterogametic sex, there is a portion of the X chromosome for which there is no homologous region of the Y chromosome. Is there any new term here? There's no new term. But let me be slowly and explain what do I mean. When you were doing meiosis, you mentioned the term homologous chromosomes line up at the central region of the cell at the equator. Homologous. And what did you say homologous mean? They are similar in shape and in size. That's what homologous, from the term homo, same, similar in shape and in size. So if the chromosomes are like this, we're drawing though, joined, and the other one, joined. Okay. These two, okay, are said to be homologous. Sorry for the poor, but I wanted them to be the same. Okay, same, same in size and in shape. They are homologous. But it's not always the case when it comes to our gonosomes, our X and Y chromosome. So before we end, I want you to go home and interpret this diagram, because it would help us to understand lots of dynamics. In the case of heterogametic sex, it's X and Y. And who is a heterogametic sex? It's a male. Because a female can only be XX. Okay. There's a portion of the X chromosome. There's a portion of the X chromosome for which there is no homologous chromosome on the Y chromosome. This is what we are explaining. We'll take it from there tomorrow. We work out a few examples of sex-linked conditions. Thank you so much, great girls. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.